Can't say it then. Not if we're
I mean,
live.
I feel like I've heard everything the Carpenters have ever done, so I'm ready for variations now.
Wow.
It's a little bit of a cruel satire about how she met her demise. Bringing her down.
Oh,
30
that's
seconds.
just
All right. Here we go.
It's not right.
no, it's not right. So, and then Trigby's got it for us. Okay.
From the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. Todd Allbaugh along with Mr. Aaron Zommers on the board. It's 6 minutes past the hour of 2 o'clock on Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. It's a great day to be a Wisconsinite, and it is
Hump Day.
very good. Welcome in, everybody. Glad to have you along on Hump Day. Aaron Zommers. Right off the bat here, Zommers, for those watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twix, what have you, we stream the show. You get to see us, for better or worse. And they have changed the format now. And now, Zommers, we're going to do this in real time. What has popped up on my screen here, it says Insta360 link firmware
I'll be right
update.
there.
Do I hit remind me later or download? Because I'm afraid if I touch something, it's all going to go to hell.
Don't.
Kreitler says, don't touch anything.
Look at that. Zommers
Look at
is in the
Zommers.
studio
See?
now.
Yes,
my
I'm a
goodness.
young
The
person.
pilot's been incapacitated. The co-pilot is taking over now. So.
Just like airplane. That is the voice, the mellow tones, the baritones coming across Lake Wissota on a beautiful fall day. He is the host of Mornings with Pat Kreitlow. Mr. Pat Kreitlow, how are you?
Oh, that is me, isn't it? Yes. Hello.
Yes.
It's nice to be here.
It's great to have you here and joining us, as he does every Wednesday, a former Republican like myself from the Tony suburbs of our nation's capital, but originally a River Falls boy, the senior advisor to the Lincoln Project, Trigby Olson. Trigby, how are you?
I'm good. You know, I'm a little leery because Pat has been on Facebook fire with some of his
He
going
has.
after Derek Van Oddone and his tweets.
It doesn't take much, that's for sure. Yeah.
Takes a lot to intimidate me, but I'm a little nervous here, Todd.
You don't want to be on Patrick's
I
bad
don't want
side.
Pat coming at me.
I don't think you're in danger of doing the things Derek Van Orden has been doing for the past week.
Before we get into that, I am wearing a lovely gift from my sister. We went out last year to see the Broadway show, Kimberly Akimbo. And one of the themes of the show is life is short, enjoy the ride, the roller coaster. So here you go. There's the
Short ride.
Yeah, that's what you see, but it says life is short, enjoy the ride.
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's a good motto to seize the day. We had Kira Sabin, our positivity life psychologist, on yesterday, talking about the fact that, look, even though bad things are happening every day, there are also great things happening every day. And I think it's important just to remember some of the good things. I'm going to start us off this week. I want both of you to answer the question. Pat Kreitlow, what's good?
You could have just as easily asked if I would sprout another head out of the side of my neck here. I was so unprepared for that one. Tell you something good over the past few days. There we go. Tell you what's good is having producers who are quick on the button and can bring up Rufus and Shaka Khan on a moment's notice. That's what I like.
There.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. That's something.
No, I'll tell you the other good thing. I'm sorry,
go
Trigby.
ahead.
If there's something that's good, it's that we collectively, Civic Media, we have become a destination for people who are seeking public office. We had not one but two candidates early this morning, making their announcements. One of them for the very first time on our show, and I feel like we're doing a good thing for the listeners all around Wisconsin, is bringing them points of view they may not otherwise get.
State Representative Francesca Hong launched her the Democratic gubernatorial bid this morning on Pat's show. We'll get back to that in a minute. Trigby Olson, tell us something good.
The Micah Parsons project. Green Bay Packer defense is pretty good. It's a good thing. Deer hunting season is not that far off.
Bow hunting, yeah.
High school football's going on.
All great things. Mine's just going to be the fall weather. I mean, this is really my favorite time of year from now until about the end of November. I love this time of year in Wisconsin. So I am very happy to have the fall season upon us. By the way, Trigby, let's start with the gubernatorial race here, and we'll get to Pat in a second. But Trigby, I've received a text from a listener that says, when is Trigby going to start walking back to Wisconsin? There are doors to be knocked for Kelda Royce.
Did she officially announce?
Yeah,
on Monday.
Show. Yes.
Oh, well, I didn't. Sorry. I've been in a little bit of a hole.
DC. I know you have.
We understand.
But no, you got
I'm physically located someplace, but I'm I've been ensconced in the matrix. I said though, the first show I'm going to come on and talk about what I'm doing is going to be this one. So,
and I know a little bit of what it is, and it's legit, and you're not going to want to miss it when it happens.
Pretty cool.
All right, Pat, let's go to the governor's race on your show this morning. Exclusively a great get. Francesca Hong, state representative here in Madison, represents most of the isthmus of the northeast side of Madison, announced her gubernatorial race this morning on your show. She calls herself a wild card.
Yeah, because, underdog is, I guess Jesse O'Point must have asked her that from the Journal Sentinel. And she said, wild card is better than underdog. And look, what we've got in this race right now is in Francesca Hong is we've got, shall we say, candor, somebody who's going to call it as she sees it. It has been during her relatively short time in the state assembly, but she has made herself very well known because she does not play the, go along to get along kind of thing. If she thinks that something's wrong, she's going to say it's wrong. If she thinks something is baloney, she's going to call it a word other than baloney. And what she said on the show today was that, this is a time for bold ideas. And look, all the candidates who are in right now, the top 4 Democratic candidates, are solid progressives and Democrats, but in terms of the tone that they're going to take and the strategy that they're going to take to try to win over votes, they will not be cookie cutter going forward.
As a former Democratic state legislator, Pat, give me your view on this. My opinion as a former Republican is, politically speaking, probably makes it the toughest on Sarah Rodriguez with this announcement, because in Milwaukee, the 2 biggest Democratic counties, biggest vote getters are Dane, where Madison is at, and Milwaukee County. And county executive David Crowley in Milwaukee has announced. The mayor there, Cavalier Johnson, has endorsed him. That kind of solidifies Milwaukee County in a certain way, in my opinion. Now in Dane, now you have it split between State Senator Kelda Royce, State Representative Francesca Hong. It was seen that Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez now, her big place to get votes is going to be all the outstate Democrats, which is harder and more expensive to get.
I know, but allow me to put my fingers together like a supervillain and say, just as I planned it, because the only way to win now, if you're splitting the Dane County vote and if you're splitting the Milwaukee area vote, is get in the car and come talk to the rest of us up here. And that's exactly what these candidates have been doing and what they have to do now. They can no longer put something in their back pocket. David Crowley can't put Milwaukee in his back pocket with Sarah Rodriguez there. Kelda Royce can't put Madison in her back pocket with Fran there. And so they've got to get out and about like crazy for the next 11 months. I thoroughly believe that they will. They're going to run into crowds, some of whom are, as dyed-in-the-wool Democrats as you would find in Dane or Milwaukee County. And it's going to be tempting to think, okay, well, a far left message is what's going to help me win the primary. And then they're going to go talk someplace else. Then they're going to be reminded that there's a whole lot of other Wisconsin that does not want things to go too far to the left or too far to the right. And so some of these candidates are going to specialize in taking a more moderate path, seeing that as the ultimate, key to success. Others are going to say, nope, you got to go big and bold. And I am here for all of it. I think it's going to be a great primary.
And Trigby Olson, I'll let you speak for yourself, but you've said on this program before, the two Democrats you said that would not be willing to go knock on doors for were Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez and State Senator Kelda Royce, because they've done exactly what Pat has said, which has gotten to places outside of Madison and Milwaukee.
Yeah, 100%. I'll have to be knocking on a lot of doors. I'd prefer to do that up somewhere in St. Croix County, though.
I bet they'd let you do that.
I'd be of more use. Actually, in a Democratic primary, though, in St. Croix County, I might not be of any use. I might be counterproductive. So there's that. So maybe I need to do it somewhere where I'm not known.
But politically, Trigby, although we're former Republican, you know this state well politically.
Yeah.
And what's your opinion on the early? We're over, well, I guess under a year from the primary next fall. But what do you think of the makeup so far on the Democratic side?
I mean, as I said to somebody who asked me one time about Democratic primaries, I don't know a lot about winning Democratic primaries. If it were a Republican primary, I could probably tell you a thing or two, but not a Democrat one. But what I would say is they have a bunch of diverse voices that are going to be, and they're getting more candidates all the time. That actually is not a bad thing. Yes, it's less consolidation and whatever, but Democrats need to have a lot of voices traveling around the state, showing who they are, showing that they're not just they're not the stereotype that Republicans and MAGA try and make them into, that they're not out crossing the state saying we need, trans athletes playing at every level or whatever, I mean, a million different things like that they're going to be talking about issues like University of Wisconsin system, the Wisconsin idea, how that's the heart and soul of communities like the Fox River Valley with Green Bay, or my hometown of River Falls, or Pat in the Chippewa Valley, or the Cooley region, right? Like they need people talking about high school, about public school funding. They need people talking about environmentalism and protecting our environment so that we have places to go deer hunting. And they're going to have people that are doing that. And hopefully they can stay away from the attacks on each other and really not get dragged into, and this is funny because I'm a consultant and I have a plane to catch when you have a problem, Pat, but, or Todd, but the truth is, hopefully, instead of attacking each other, they can stay really, really focused on talking about the issues that matter and let the cards fall where they may in terms of who is the ultimate nominee.
And just to clean up your comments, I know what you meant, Trigby, but just in case people are listening, you're not saying on the trans athlete issue, you're not saying that's what the Democratic platform is. You're saying that's what Republicans and MAGA are going to try to brand them as.
Those ads are already, they're running them again. They're running them. Abigail Spanberger. I mean, I do have some insights into what their playbook's going to be for governor's races, because I'm sitting here watching one in Virginia. They got Winston Earl Sears, who she could give Tom Tiffany or Derek Van Orton a run for their money. Abby Spanberger literally was a decorated CIA agent, and I don't know her, but I know of her from people that I know that were in that line of work. She had a sterling reputation, and literally all they've got is saying that she's going to be letting trans athletes be playing in Virginia sports across the country.
I was going to say,
across state.
The most valuable words.
Ridiculous.
The most valuable words any Democratic candidate can have for the next, year plus is, "There you go again." And then say, we're not here to talk about the fact that, health insurance costs are being jacked up, grocery prices haven't come down, and so forth and so on. You stick to that and don't get knocked off your game by that same divisive ridiculousness, then they're going to be okay.
We're talking with Pat Kreitlow of Mornings with Pat Kreitlow every morning from 6 until 9 across the network, and Trigby Olson, Senior Advisor at the Lincoln Project. When we come back, Matt is on the line. He has a question, says he's hot burning for Trigby Olson. We'll listen to that. And also,
I'm ready.
Could a lot of today's issues be summed up in a musical? We'll have the answer to that as well. The other side, don't go anywhere. It's Pat, Trigby, and Todd of the Civic Media Radio Network.
Tell me something good.
WMDX Madison.
Come in with that song, Todd.
Or wait till you're called for it.
I think I want to go to Matt.
Okay, yeah.
And then I'll call for it. Yeah.
Or upgrade to an adjustable base and save even more. At Burlow, every mattress we make is factory direct and custom made locally for you. And it's backed by a lifetime comfort guarantee.
Matt Middleton.
Don't fall for the other guy's mattress.
He says
I'm
it's a
telling
hot
you,
question.
all right, I like it. The next time I'm back, man, we gotta get Matt to venture into the big city, and we'll go to the Red Shed and drink a few beers, eat some curds. We'll talk it out.
Authentic Mexican cuisine, fresh, homemade, and the best prices.
I don't think it's an adversarial question necessarily.
No, he said it was a question related to stuff going on in the world and some personal experience he had.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's great. I'm coming to Madison, Todd. Are you still got the game circled on the calendar?
Yeah.
You're gonna get to meet my man Jake, who's doing the back end stuff.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. And Todd, you know what I'm doing this weekend? Pat, you'll like this too. You know who I'm taking out for dinner?
Who?
None other than Jim Schmidt, because my daughter's going down to look at James Madison, and he's like, "We got to go have dinner." And I said, "I owe you dinner because you hooked me up with Jake." So
wow,
how awesome's that? Yeah, it's going to be pretty fun. I'm taking him and the
tell him
missus.
hello from me.
I will.
Matt,
for sure.
if you can hear us, Zombers ask him, can he stick around until after the bottom of the hour break, or does he have to go? Just because I want to get this other thing in with Pat while he's still
Okay,
with it.
I'll ask him.
Yeah, we got to get Pat going off on Derek Van Odd one.
No, I don't want to.
Epic.
I
That's
got something else I want to talk about.
Dude, did you see what he was saying
Oh,
about Ellsworth, Wisconsin?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that part. I guess it does actually relate to a degree. It has to do with the silencing of speech, a silencing of people.
Oh yeah, the cancel culture.
Yeah.
Well, it's beyond cancel culture, I think.
They ain't
Oh, yeah,
canceling
it's-
us.
It's Trevi, did you see the where
15 seconds.
all right.
Also, he said, yeah, he can hang on for
all
a
right,
while.
thanks.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's come back in then that song.
Come in with the song?
Yep.
Okay.
Dreadful things. I've heard of an ox, a professor from Quox, no longer permitted to teach, who has lost all powers of speech. And an owl in Munchkin Rock, a vicar with a thriving flock, forbidden to preach. Now he only can screech. Only rumors, but still enough to give pause to anyone with pause. Something bad is happening in Oz.
Something bad happening in us.
Under the surface, behind the scenes,
Wicked.
something bad.
Something bad is happening in Oz.
Sorry.
If you maybe you didn't not familiar with the show, it's the original, how the origin story of Wizard of Oz, the Wicked Witch of the West, and Glenda the Good Witch. In this, before she becomes the Wicked Witch, Elphaba meeting with this professor who happens to be a goat, I think. And in this show, I mean, it's normal that animals can speak. And they say, wait, something terrible is happening. So these are the lyrics quickly. The things you hear these days, dreadful things. I've heard of an ox, a professor from Quox, who is no longer permitted to teach, who has lost all powers of speech. An owl in Munchkin Rock, a vicar with a thriving flock, forbidden to preach. Now he can only screech. It's only rumors, but enough to give pause with anybody with pause. Pat Kreitlow, a little goofy, I know, but unfortunately has a lot of pertinence in today with what is going to fall out. I don't want to get too far down into the Charlie Kirk story, but now we have people that has come to Wisconsin through all matters of vocations who are being suspended and fired from their jobs because they dare speak out. And let me start off by saying I completely renounce all forms of violence, full stop. I renounce all forms of political violence, full stop. But many of these things people are putting on their social media are direct quotes from Charlie Kirk that are the truth and has nothing to do with an opinion on whether he should have died or not, and they're being fired, Pat.
We're at the point where we frankly don't even have to give those disclaimers anymore, because as heinous as the Charlie Kirk, gosh, it's been a long week, hasn't it? As heinous as that assassination has been, we are rapidly rising in the terms of seriousness, given the way, and forgive the, I don't know other way to use this, that people like Derek Van Orden are starting to use the First Amendment like toilet paper. It is shocking. It is alarming to see somebody start with a few angry social media posts, but the anger has not subsided. The taste for blood and vengeance has not subsided. The obscenities and the emotional lack of maturity churn on and on, celebrating that people are being fired, they're being singled out, they're being threatened, they're being defunded within his own congressional district. The things that the congressman from the 3rd district is doing right now have crossed a line. They are anti-American. Now, and Charlie Kirk is now rapidly becoming a separate entity to this. I am sorry for his loss. I am sorry that he feels that this is the path he has to go down, but he has chosen a wrong path. Somewhere past 500 tweets, and he's closing in on 1,000. He has turned his social media feed into something out of Big Brother, one of the telescreens that is monitoring people. And if you dare stray from what the party wants, you will be disappeared. That's the kind of thing he wants. He doesn't want to be a congressman anymore. He wants to be chief of police, chief of the thought police for the 3rd district. And it is past time that other Republicans told him, you're starting to make all of us look bad, pal.
Trygve Olsen, you've talked about something called cognitive dissonance. I know that's a big term for a lot of people, including me. I just say it's about looking at yourself in the mirror. But to Pat's point, one of the things that Derek Van Orden did, Congressman, this week, was call on the complete defunding of federal dollars to go to the 2nd largest municipality in his congressional district, the city of Eau Claire, because 2 council members put something on their socials that were, by the way, simply quotes of what Charlie Kirk had said with no commentary. And politically, Trygve, don't you think most people in Eau Claire County, if you said, look, even if you disagree with someone, why cut off all the funding to the entire city because you got a bone to pick with 2 people? It doesn't make political sense, Trygve.
No, it doesn't make political sense. And I don't know. He's a little unhinged on all of this. I think there is some irony in the fact that you have people who wrap themselves in their service, who are currently and I'm not just citing any one individual, but who wrap themselves in their service to the country, which is an incredibly noble thing, who are now advocating for things that are directly antithetical to what has made America great and what has made America exceptional and the values that they stood and fought for. And quite frankly, that our grandparents stood, or our great-grandparents stood and fought for in places like Iwo Jima and Pointe du Hoc and the beaches of Normandy and in Bataan. It's, I don't know what to say.
They would all be ashamed of what
they should be. They would be incredibly ashamed.
I just get very concerned when I hear that people are being fired and laid off from their private sector jobs for something they put on social media alone, let alone the fact that it wasn't calling for harm to anybody. It wasn't celebrating anybody's death. It was just putting the truth out there. And I just think, Pat, we're getting in a very dangerous place here.
We are, to the point where I have to say, so what? So what if somebody celebrates it? The fact that the Attorney General of the United States says that if somebody celebrates somebody else's murder, as stupid and heinous as that is, that's not hate speech that is worthy of the United States government coming down on somebody, either through investigations or defunding. It's ridiculous. Again, it's un-American, and these folks are not doing themselves any favors the longer this drags on. And I'll just leave it at that.
History is not going to look back kindly on them. They are not going to be seen as the greatest generation.
Nope, it's much more McCarthy-esque.
They may be seen as the generation that squandered the gifts that were bestowed to them by the greatest generation. And they already are.
Tune in to Pat every morning. He's not always this, intent. There's music today in history and other things others as well.
I'm a nice guy, I promise.
You are, I know.
I like this, Pat.
Mornings with Pat Kreitler, morning from 6 until 9. The phone lines are lit up. As Matt Flynn, we see you on the lines. Do not hang up. We'll get to your phone calls after this with Trygve Olsen. This is the Allbaugh Show across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Ready Network. Farm News is next. Yes, I get paid.
Boy, you guys really know how to pull the string on that lawnmower, don't you?
I didn't mean to go. I just think it's an important issue.
It is an important issue.
I think that, to your point, I mean, you said it well. I just
Thank you.
The thing that's amazing to me is the fact that psychologically you have a whole group of people that have convinced themselves that that's what others are trying to do to them. And hence their response is, we're going to do that to everybody else. When in reality, no one was ever trying to cancel them in the first place.
No. Again, it's a culture of victimhood. And I just so tired of it that, we're so persecuted for being conservatives. No, you're being criticized for some kind of position, but to equate it with persecution. And so now to take this as some kind of last straw is just delusional.
I just think, the other piece of it is, do you really want, if you're on the right, do you really want to live in a country where if you say something down at Ray's bar with your buddies when you're having some ham sandwiches and a few beers and worried that somebody is going to be sitting around reporting you? Because that's kind of stuff of the Stasi and East Germany.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is.
I'm going to go monitor this show on another computer in case I have to run back and defend my honor. But you kids have a fun show.
All right.
Sounds good. Thanks, Pat. Bye.
We'll see you in about 10, Pat.
That was funny.
Excited to welcome a couple of new chapters. Winnebago Lutheran is one. Forward, which is a virtual school up in Northwest Wisconsin. And then we're also seeing some changes in how chapters are structuring themselves.
Sally Ladston with the Department of Public Instruction and the Wisconsin
Also, don't
State
forget
FFA
we have the
advisor. She says,
announcement video from
because of
Francesca
all
Hung
the
that we should play
strength in
because we
students
did with
enrolled
the others.
in agriculture
I'm
education
gonna.
and food-related
I'll play the whole.
classes.
Sometime,
I'll play it tomorrow. She's coming on tomorrow.
Oh, okay,
The good
great.
So,
news is
yeah, we'll do the
Wisconsin's
first
got
minute when she
flexible
comes on tomorrow.
alternative licensure options to keep those programs moving forward.
At the Department of Agriculture, Trade, and
There's a
Consumer
natural stopping
Protection,
point
they
at a
know
minute
your
in,
business
so-
has
Okay,
always been something special. Now you can let customers know it too, in an instant, with the red and yellow Something Special from Wisconsin sticker. Joining the program gives you access to supplier and distribution information, marketing support, and a community of like-minded Wisconsin businesses. Best of all, you'll let people know that your work is done with care, quality, and love. You've always been something special. Visit somethingspecialfromwisconsin.com to make it official.
How are you, Trigby?
And our Wisconsin
I'm
entries
good.
did very well in the 2025 World Dairy
Good for
Expo
you.
Championship Dairy Product Contest. 97 product classes they could enter. Congratulations to Lake Country Dairy Schumann Cheese as the grand champion winner in the cheese and butter category with their vanilla mascarpone cheese. Also,
Vanilla
congratulations to the grand
mascarpone
champion winner of ice cream, sherbet, frozen yogurt, and gelato. That's peanut butter chocolate ice cream from Kirshner's Super Premium Ice Cream in Chautauqua. You can see all the winners at MidwestFarmReport.com.
You're listening to 92.7 WMDX, Madison's home for the Todd Allbaugh Show.
We need a good song.
Still staying
What do
unseasonably
you
warm
want,
today
Trigby?
with
There's a
highs
minute
climbing
left.
to the upper 80s. And with clear skies tonight,
I'm
we
trying
see
to
mild
think.
down to the mid 60s. And for tomorrow, sunshine to start the day, still a warm one reaching the mid 80s, and then a chance of showers and storms by the afternoon. I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot, currently 82 degrees.
I can't think of anything.
I want to kind of like go into. I'm glad you brought that up, your experience. I think that's part of what.
Very fine, fellas. Normally,
People, I actually got a text from somebody else who told me to ask you this. They get into, based on your experience, your unique ability, or based on your experience, are things that we're seeing here today in the United States, are they precursors to authoritarianism and fascism, which you've seen firsthand?
Yeah, very much so.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was.
I could talk about that.
Even though
How about We're Not Going to Take It by Twisted Sister?
All right, we have about 30 seconds. I'll grab that.
Wow. 30 seconds, folks. Zomer says 30 seconds to grab a song.
He can do it.
So good.
I needed like 5.
So good. Fastest hands in the business.
That's what she said.
Hey, Zomers, you want to
Hold on,
come
we
and
gotta go.
see Iowa play Wisconsin? I got an extra ticket. You get to meet my kids. You get to meet
Sure.
Todd Allbaugh, the most popular man from 3 to 5 Eastern time,
Here
2
we
to
go.
4 in Wisconsin. Pat's not gonna take it. Pat's not gonna take it. Pat's not gonna take it anymore.
Welcome back to the Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. It is 35 now, past the hour of 2 o'clock on Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. Sommer spinning the tunes, fastest DJ hands in the West. Here, I'm joined by the senior advisor to the Lincoln Project, Mr. Trigby Olson, who joins us from his home in rural Washington, D.C. I like that one. Yeah.
Soon I'm going to be there for an encore edition on Friday, live and in studio, Todd.
I've heard this. So you're going to be here with your lovely and talented daughter. You've been doing a number of tours around the country as your daughter gets ready to go to college, and you have saved your pitch, your official visit to University of Wisconsin-Madison as your last stop. So we got to put
no,
on the
it's
dog.
not the last stop.
Really? It's not? I thought it was.
You know what? Once you've seen Wisconsin, you've seen them all. I'm in rare form today. Did you? I hope my mic was hot when I was singing along about Pat not going to take it.
Pat was a little wound up, and rightfully so. I want to know if Jack is going to get Tommy out there. So come to Wisconsin. We got to have you in Wisconsin.
Oh, I should call in a favor and get.
You should.
I should just get him to record a message.
All right,
I don't need Jack for that. By the way, Jack, how's your fantasy football team doing this year? The Woke Walkers are 4-0, baby. That's the name of my team, the Woke Walkers.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's great.
I might have to change it to the cancel culture.
Training phone lines are lit up for you. 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. Before the break, talking with Pat Kreitlow and Trigby about, not specifically about the whole Charlie Kirk assassination, which is terrible. I denounce it. But more so the fallout in Wisconsin. We've seen private and semi-private and public places putting people on leave and firing them for simply putting out factual or truthful information on their private social media. And are we getting in a dangerous spot here where First Amendment rights are being trampled on, and it's getting to the point where it's all about fear, and you got to watch what you say, or you can be plucked off the streets or at least lose your job. 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. Matt in Middleton's been waiting a long time. We appreciate you holding, Matt. Thanks for calling in and listening. Matt, what say you?
Hey, guys. Thanks again for what you do. I thought I had a family story here, personal story that I think is relevant to how we got here as a people going through all this chaos. And my brother had a German Shepherd that was old. Its vision was getting bad. And it bit me in my arm, a really bad bite, 16 stitches.
Ooh.
And there were young kids on the lawn. And my brother called me that evening, rather shooken voice. He was upset. And what he said sticks with me now and forever and is relevant, I think. He said that the dog biting me in that way, the savage nature of that, seeing the blood, shook him out of his comfort. It brought him to the real savage nature of reality, of the real world. And I think to Trump at his rally last year, or when he was running, where he read the poem of the rabbit and the viper, the snake. And I met CJ from Stoughton at the last civic media social thing at Downdren's. Perfectly nice guy. I gave him a hug. We talked. We can agree on things. I'd buy him a beer anytime. Good guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he fails to see Trump for the viper he really is. There's so many people throughout my life that I talk to. I've been like, the Paul Revere over the last 10 years, trying to tell people the reality of what's happening and how bad it can be. And as Americans, so many people like my brother we're in this comfort zone. It can't happen to us. It can't happen to here, blah, blah, blah. But then when that viper shows its fangs and it bites you like it's doing now, people like CJ will still not admit the real situation, what's really happening. The viper for being the viper. What do you say to that? And what can we do to wake people up to what's really going on?
I appreciate the listenership, Matt, and I appreciate the call. And Trigby, going to let you respond to that. And I get it. There are other voices on this network or whatever that try to pit personalities against personalities. I don't do that here. So appreciate all the calls. Want you to listen. Want you to call in. But if we could please not call out specific people by name, I just don't want to make this personal to any personal listener on here. But Trigby, address Matt's overall concern.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I've been talking about for a long time, and that is you have to get people to find the cognitive dissonance, the incongruence between how they live their lives and what they're advocating for politically. And that's it. This is a thing that people sort of are missing with the state that we're in. And politics is normal in what I call the game we know. It's about advocating your position, and Todd, you advocate yours, and we try and come to ultimately some kind of compromise, right? And in that process, that win-win process, you might stake out a hard line and I might stake out a hard line, but we're really doing that knowing that we're working towards a compromise. In the game that we're in, it's zero sum. It's not about the compromise. And for the people that you're interacting with, they're not necessarily zero sum. They assume they're still playing the game that they know, the win-win. And you have to lead them to understand that. And you do it by asking questions that are probing. You do it by showing genuine interest. In fact, can I give a plug to somebody who listens?
Yeah, please.
Who you'll know of. So I had the pleasure earlier this week of meeting Adolf Gunderson. Adolf Gunderson wrote a book. This book was written back in, I don't know, but 10, 12 years ago. It's called Let's Talk Politics. He's the nephew of Adolf Gunderson Sr. from the Gundersons in La Crosse, which it was awesome talking to him because Adolf Gunderson, who was the chair of the Board of Regents, Dr. Gunderson, they're both Dr. Gunderson, but he used to, when he was chair of the Board of Regents and I was down in Madison, he used to take me out for dinner when he was down there and just talk. He's a huge mentor to me, just a great guy. Ran for Congress. Anyway, the point is made in that book. Adolf, the nephew, is one of the leading experts on that, and he makes the point in the book that it starts with listening to what the other person is saying and trying to understand them. It's not about just advocating to them. You're not going to convince somebody by just saying, this, and this. You've got to make it personal to them. You've got to make them understand that, I think about a friend back home who's one of the people who, always is going to church and giving money for the immigrants that come and live in River Falls, right? And yet they're advocating for things that are politically diametrically opposed to that.
The name of the book Trigby Olson is referring to is Let's Talk Politics, Restoring Civility Through Exploratory Discussion by Adolf Gunderson. Appreciate you bringing that up, Trigby. Trigby Olson, Lincoln Project.
He would be a really good person, quite honestly, Todd. I'm just thinking with the questions that you're getting. And actually, he knew of me because I'm on the Todd Allbaugh show. How about that?
How about that?
He didn't know me. He didn't know me because he had no idea the connections that were coming. I used to stay at his uncle's house right across the street. And guess what? He has a kid named
Trigby.
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah. It made my day. I got,
I'm sure
somebody said you should talk to this guy, and we ended up hooking up. It was awesome.
That's super cool.
He's being really helpful with something I'm working on. So
is our guest 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. Let's go to Rick in Waukesha, listening on WAUK. Rick, thanks for holding. Let's see.
Hey, I got something I want to tell you because I heard you mention it, The Greatest Generation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just watched a program on the veterans that are still alive, a new release thing with 90-year-old guys and a 101-year-old guy. And the guy that took out 7 pillboxes got a medal, and they asked him, what do you think of this? You're the greatest generation. And he said, you know what? The media made that term and books. He said, but really, I believe we're just a different generation.
Wow. Wow.
That's how he stated it.
But that's great,
so
Rick. But isn't
I thought I'd put that out.
Really appreciate it. But oftentimes, Trigby and Rick, I don't know what your experience is, but often the people that saw and did the worst and the most in combat say the least.
Yeah,
and downplay it.
You know, he didn't talk until he was 97 years old.
Wow, a true American hero. Thanks, Rick, for
yeah.
sharing
I
that.
mean, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to look that up, Rick, for sure. The bottom line is, you know, they did not view themselves as heroes. I've talked about it before. When I was growing up as a kid in River Falls, a guy named Pahachik was our mailman, who substitute mailman when the regular mailman wasn't able to do it. And I was doing some research before I wrote my Substack for Memorial Day, and about people who had served from River Falls. I was actually looking up another guy that I knew who had been in Bataan. And I came across Pahachik. It turns out Pahachik was one of the boys of Pontotoc. Never knew it.
Wow.
Never would have known that. Came home, farmed, and delivered the mail as a reserve mailman.
Incredible.
Huge American hero.
True
Saved
heroes all.
Yep. But I'll tell you, I mean, that's the thing, Todd. And I think about this from my own experience. I talk about it a lot. When I was maybe 28, 29, 30, I went to Serbia, and it scarred me because I saw people who had lived in peace and harmony next to each other for years. They'd gone to each other's weddings. They were neighbors. Start killing each other because Slobodan Milosevic was stoking ethnic hatreds from years before.
Yeah.
It can happen. It can totally happen.
855-752-4842. Let's go quickly to Eau Claire, WCFW, the tap at Eau Claire. Gene, about a minute and a half. You can get in. Please go ahead. Gene, are you there? Gene in Eau Claire, 855-752. We'll put her on hold. Go to Mark quickly in Prairie du Sac. Mark, thanks for holding. Are you there? What say you?
Yeah, I'm here. You can remember that Derek Van Orden, the reminder there, said Benedict Arnold was a hero right up to the time he betrayed the country. That he was a decorated hero until he betrayed the country. So Derek Van Orden, you know, he doesn't seem to understand that concept that a guy can be a hero one day and betray his oath the next day. And let's remember 1984, the end of 1984, I read this back over 50 years ago. It still sticks to me, you know, that he loved Big Brother. I mean, this is what they expect us to do. They want to break our spirit and make us love Donald Trump and love the fascism that Donald Trump is bringing to us. And we cannot let them defeat us.
Yeah, appreciate the call, Mark. Thank you so very much. 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. Trigby, about a minute here left, and so I'm going to kind of put this out there, give you a couple of minutes to think on it. I want to come back and pick up, because to your point, and I know you're humble about this, but it's important. You've seen some really bad things in Eastern Europe. You're banned by Putin himself from going into Russia. And I am more than one person.
I wouldn't want to go there anyway, Todd. But
right. More than one person asked me this week and said, I want to know from Trigby about some of the things that are happening in this country, some we've already talked about in terms of suppression of speech, but also now they released these texts of the alleged shooter in the Charlie Kirk assassination. And I don't want to go too far down the hole, but a lot of things don't add up. And people are losing faith in institutions. And what does that mean for America moving forward? I'm going to ask that to Trigby after this. Don't go anywhere. It's the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. Have you read these texts, the alleged texts?
Civic Media Radio Network.
I don't want
weird.
I don't want to go too far down. I'm not going to read a bunch of them or whatever. But I mean, Zommers, when he saw him, he's like, no 22-year-old acts like that. People that you and I know that we respect said the same thing. People who I know have kids that age say the same thing. And it's just because what we're being asked to do is the same FBI that met with Ghislaine Maxwell privately and cleared Trump is the same FBI that's saying we met with this guy and this is what happened. And I think it's created a lot of doubt. The state people who say, oh, this is what happened, they're all MAGA. And so there's a lot of people out there, including me to a degree, who are like, how can we know what the truth really? Have we reached a point in America now where we really don't know what the truth is anymore? And how that's affecting the way people look at our institutions and the American experiment.
My name is Chuck
Say that
Meyer.
again?
I'm the great-grandson of the meatpacker Oscar Meyer.
How can they know? So I don't know what's the reason I say that again. I don't know what's in the text. So the texts are all MAGA oriented and inclined.
No.
Wait, there were texts that came out between allegedly the shooter and his significant other, who is, allegedly a trans person that he's a roommate with.
Yes.
And they're talking about like, hey, look under my keyboard, and he put a note under it. Like, I have an opportunity to shoot Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. I'm like, are you being serious right now? And just the texts between them talking about it. I don't know. It's just not how young people talk. I don't know, but that's the point. I don't know if I can trust it.
And so,
That it's real.
and so you have the FBI standing up there, the local Republican attorney up there, attorney general, or the DA, I guess it is, saying this is real. These texts are real. But you read it, Trigby, it doesn't add up.
Well, I mean,
and I'm not the only one saying this.
Yeah. I don't know. What I would say is ultimately we're very quickly reaching a point where people really struggle. I mean, it's kind of what autocrats want. If you don't know what's true and what isn't, then you're sort of left with, I'm just going to farm that out and accept whatever truth I want to accept. And a lot of times you farm it out to, I'm just going to assume that this person who's a leader is my truth. And so, is it, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, let's not spend too much time on that part of it.
About 10 seconds.
All right, here we go. Wherever it may lead, and having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. Now, 8 minutes before the hour of 4 o'clock, at the top of the hour, ABC or CBS News, depending upon which of our great stations you're listening to. Followed by Check of Weather, Mike Clemens, great sports report. Brewers got another win last night. Magic number down to 7 now for the NL Central. Cubs also won yesterday. Last check, the Cubs were tied in their game today. Brewers back underway tonight, 6:35, first pitch, 6:05 for the pregame show. Across many of our stations, the Los Angeles Lakers against the Brewers on WRCO Richland Center, WISS in Oshkosh, WCQM in Park Falls, and WBZH in Hayward. Also a good time to remind you that Civic Media has launched a brand new daily email newsletter on Substack. It will connect you to all of the terrific content we produce every day across the network. It's called Civic Media Today, and it's free to subscribe. So check it out at Substack now. Apparently lots of wrangling over Universal NBC over the use of the word today. But apparently we paid them off or something. So it is called Civic Media Today. And the cool thing is, if you open it the next day, it's called Civic Media Yesterday. So that's a nice feature.
And if you somehow get an early edition, it could be Civic Media tomorrow.
Tomorrow, exactly.
But it's a deal, Todd. It's free.
It's free.
In a world where there's no such thing as a free lunch, it's a free lunch.
And check out Trygve Olsen at his Substack as well for all of his great writing.
I know. I haven't been writing as much recently.
Look, I want to get to this. Not a lot of time left, but and I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. I want to be careful about this, Trygve, but I've heard it from a lot of other people that I respect. And I know you haven't. In fairness, you've been tied up with a project. And actually, I'm glad to hear you haven't been in the minutia of the Charlie Kirk assassination. But in the charging documents yesterday, the local authorities of Utah and the FBI released what they alleged to be texts after the assassination between the accused shooter and his romantic partner. And they used phrases, and it's a 22-year-old kid, using phrases like, quote, "I'm still okay, my love." And the whole thing just does, to a lot of people, it's like, and Zomer said, he's 26. And after the show, he's like, I read it, and that doesn't seem like anything a 22-year-old. The vernacular isn't right. And so people are saying the same FBI that told us they met privately with Ghislaine Maxwell, and she said she cleared Donald Trump of all the Epstein stuff and then got a deal for a cushy prison, is the same FBI who's telling us this is what happened in the Charlie Kirk assassination. And a lot of people are saying, how can I now trust my institutions? And Trigby, as you've traveled the world, I think that's a dangerous spot to be in now. And I'm not defending those institutions, by the way. I'm just saying we've reached this point that I think is very detrimental and dangerous to American democracy.
Incredibly dangerous. I mean, trust and faith in institutions is massive. I mean, you know, there is Richard Nixon got a lot of things wrong. He did get right. Americans have to know if their president is a crook, right? Like, so, yeah, I mean, the erosion of trust in institutions, the idea that, you know, basically the U.S. Congress, state legislatures across the country have just become two partisan camps. And, you know, it kind of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, Todd, in a way, because the people that want to go and try and do things rather than be someone, they don't want to be in the process anymore because there's no opportunity to do things across party lines and work with the other side. And so what you end up with, and I have to give him credit. Tommy Thompson used to always say, two kinds of politicians, those who want to be and those who want to do. And you want the kinds who want to do, whether you agree with them or not. We're getting less and less of them. I mean, yeah. I don't, you know, to take this full circle, I don't know what Derek Van Adwan, I don't know what he exactly wants to do. It's clear he likes to be, but I'm wondering what it is that he wants to do and who is he reaching out to work across the aisle to do things with. And it, you know, I think in Wisconsin and all across the country, really, that's going to be a central point of conversation between now and the next elections. And we're seeing it all over. I mean, the redistricting mid-cycle to improve your party's chances, right? Like the US Congress is supposed to be about all of us, whether you voted for the person or not. The person who's representing people in Congress isn't representing a political party. They're supposed to be representing, or even the country as a whole. They're supposed to be representing the people of the congressional district or the legislative district that they were sent to represent. And if we can't figure that out, and we don't seem to be able to, then we're a lost cause. And quite frankly, to take it full circle, I don't think people realize how dangerous it is. You know, my wife is back over in Lithuania because her mother isn't doing well. There's Russian drones flying into NATO airspace all the time now.
Yeah.
It isn't people who think that they're scared to see what it's like to have America without democracy. They're asking the wrong question. What they should really be afraid of is seeing what a world looks like when America's light of freedom and democracy has been extinguished, what that looks like, because the past before World War II was one filled with not a lot of prosperity, far less prosperity, and a lot of dead people.
Always a pleasure, Trigby Olson, to have you on.
That wasn't really very pleasurable.
No, it was because you give great insight. What are you doing at 2:35 on Friday?
2:35 on Friday?
Billy Mack is going to be on, president and founder of the Janesville Jets.
Hold on.
They're
Todd,
opening their brand.
Send me test.
They're kicking it off.
I know what I'm doing now. I'm coming on with you and Billy.
All right.
We are talking hockey, baby.
All right. You can hear him on Friday and next
deal.
Wednesday as well.
Send me
Tricky
a text
Olsen.
to remind
All right.
me.
Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
I'll
you,
see you on
Tricky.
Friday. Bye. Awesome. We got to get down there. I got to get back and we got to go there. That's so awesome.
He wanted me to come down and do the show there. I said, I can't do it on location without Trigger. I'll be in the permanent penalty box. So I said, how about you just come on and we'll talk.
Don't tell him I'm
we'll...
coming. I will
All right.
just show up.
All right. We'll do a surprise appearance.
All right. I will. I have a meeting that starts at 2 and at 2:15, I'm telling him I'm out of here, which good luck having it when I'm not there. So
you got a problem? I have a plane to catch.
You got a problem? I got to talk hockey with Billy Mack.
All right.
And he's from
Sounds good.
Superior, so there's
I
the whole
know.
rivalry that goes along with that.
No, absolutely.
He
No,
still
it's-
laces him up, just like me. I got a big game tonight, Todd. All right, I got to go.
All
I
right,
got another
take care.
meeting. You got a show to do, and I got a plane to catch. I'll see you later.
See you later.
Thanks
bye.
for
Thank
being so good, Zommers. And hey, Zommers, circle that day when they play Iowa, because
All right,
Erica's
I
not
will.
going to be able to go because she's in Lithuania. So you're welcome to come.
All right.
That'd be
My
great.
treat. All right.
Thanks,
See ya.
Trigby. All right. Bye.
Bye, guys.
92.7 WMDX.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
There you go. Yeah. And home to the Todd Allbaugh Show, Monday through Friday from 2 to 4.
I need to use the bathroom.
All right. Sounds good.
92.7 WMDX News. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. Another name joins the race for Wisconsin governor, the second new candidate this week. Francesca Hong announced her candidacy today. Hong has repped Madison in the state assembly since 2021. She's the first Asian American member of the Wisconsin legislature. She's a chef and first ran for state office to advocate for restaurant workers during the pandemic. Since then, she's campaigned on a
Ladies and gentlemen who watch on the
progressive
stream,
platform.
I'm trying to do this spreadsheet. I messed it up. See, people tell me, Todd, you can't mess anything up. I just tried to put in on our intercompany spreadsheet. It's called the contact calendar or content calendar. And I was trying to add, we're having Francesca Hong on tomorrow at 2:35. I was trying to add that, and I ended up deleting everything from today and then moving tomorrow onto today. Which reminds me, you can subscribe to Civic Media Today on Substack. And I don't know, I've erased things and I've messed it all up, and I have no idea how I did it. That's the truth. It's just ridiculous.
Responsible and practical ones where people will feel and they will know that this is what can improve their lives.
So far, the Democratic field of candidates is more crowded than the Republican one. Hong is up against State Senator Kelda Roys, who announced she's running Monday. Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, Milwaukee County Executive.
All right, well, enough of that.
Milwaukee businessman Ryan Sternad. Two Republicans have declared their candidacy: Washington County Executive Josh Schoeman and businessman Bill Berrien. The primaries are next August, and the general election will follow a few months later in November. That may also mean Hong's seat in the assembly is up for grabs. She represents the 76th district entirely in Dane County. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson, 92.7 WMDX News.
I think these shorts either need stain remover or to be retired because they're a dot of fish blood.
Fish blood?
After losing to
Yeah, I
Alabama,
wore these fishing
Wisconsin Badgers hope to bounce
last
back
month.
when they
Yeah,
host the
last month.
3-0 Maryland
And,
Terrapins this Saturday.
you know,
Badgers
sometimes
head coach Luke Fickell
things don't
trying
go
to
as
turn
planned.
around the
Yeah.
program in the NIL portal transfer era.
Whether you're playing with 3 redshirt freshman offensive linemen or, a lot of guys that, their first time playing together with us, we have to make sure that we aren't just focused on the destination. Saturday will take care of itself.
NFL, the Packers had their first road game this week. Safety Xavier McKinney says they
But,
can't overlook
Eagles
the
got to
0-2
eat too.
Browns this Sunday in Cleveland.
I still think they got a good team. I think if you look at their roster of who they have on their team and what they can do, they got a lot of talent. It can turn around quickly for them.
Baseball, it's the Brewers and Angels tonight in Game 2 of that series in Milwaukee. Brandon Woodruff gets the start. Last night, Freddie Peralta pitched 6 innings, allowed just 1 run, 2 hits, 10 strikeouts on the way to a 9-2 victory for the Crew. With Sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
You're listening to 92.7 WMDX, Madison's home for the Maggie Dawn Show, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Still
Those have
staying
been playing
unseasonably warm today
a lot
with highs
more. I
climbing
don't know
to
if
the
I've ever
upper
heard those
80s.
before.
And with clear skies
Which one?
tonight,
On this
we stay
station.
mild
Those
down
little
to the
10-second
mid-60s.
things.
And for tomorrow, sunshine to start the day, still a warm one reaching the mid-80s, and then a chance of showers and storms by the afternoon. I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot, currently 82 degrees.
Nightlight with Pete Schwaba.
Frank Hermans. When we moved here, I called the Y because my daughter was like, I don't know, 7 years old. I said, hey, I'm calling about your beginner's gymnastics class. I'm 40 years old. I've never had a gymnastics class, so do you think I should start there? Frank, I get nothing. On the other end, it's just silence. Even after she knew I was kidding, like, tape that. Come on. And I did take the class, and I did really well.
Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. Weeknights from 6 till 8 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the Civic Media app.
I'm Rick Smith, host of The Rick Smith Show. If you're looking for honest talk, real stories, and straight-up news that matters to you, tune in to The Rick Smith Show. We're digging into the issues that affect your job, your family, your future. Join me weeknights at 9 on the Civic Media Radio Network, because your voice deserves to be heard. That's The Rick Smith Show, heard weeknights at 9 right here on the Civic Media Radio Network.
John Peterson and Gordy
about
Young.
15
Thursday
seconds.
morning, Jim Schleicher will join us from Busted Pencils.
From the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. Todd Allbaugh along Mr. Aaron Zommers on the board. It is 6 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock on this Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. It is a great day to be an American and also a Wisconsinite, and it is Hump Day. It's one of those days. I'm not quite right. A little off today. Here at the world headquarters of Civic Media downtown Madison. Blue skies, a little overcast. Brittany Merlot, our meteorologist, saying a little bit more of that smoke coming in. I'm laughing because StreamYard has set things up differently and everything looks different on the stream today. But look at that. For those watching on the stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twix, Twitter, X. Beautiful sky in downtown Madison on State Street at the Overture Center across the street there, the intersection of Fairchild and State Street. Beautiful. Look at that. This is a great day to go for a fall autumn walk. Get out there and enjoy the sights and sounds. Absolutely fantastic, Mr. Zommers. How are you?
Doing well. And it's good to have Pat and Trigby on.
Yes.
As Trigby said, Pat's not going to take it anymore. You know, he was a little salty. But
Well, and well as he should be, right? Lots going on in the country, and always glad to have Pat's take and Trigby's as well, and your phone calls. Appreciate all the phone calls, calling and listening in. It's so busy the first hour that we really didn't get to one of the things I really wanted to talk about, which is fine. All the things we talked about were important. But through all the other things out there in national politics right now, what is going under the radar a little bit is the fact that, by the way, there's still actually government business happening out in Washington, D.C., or lack thereof. And it has to do with the fact there is a deadline fast approaching at the end of this month, or the government will shut down. Federal government going to shut down. And we haven't talked a lot, if any, about this because of breaking news of the day. Here is a quiz question for you, Zommers. And our writer, pro bono, I might add, and researcher, TJ, has sent me this, and I went out of my way to make sure that I did not see the answer, and I printed it off so I could give my honest opinion. And I've left the printed copy on my desk, and so I'm like, I'll pull it up on the email, and now I've seen the answer. So I can't participate. But I'll ask you, Congress has until September 30th to pass all 12 of its annual spending bills. When was the last time lawmakers met the deadline without resorting to temporary spending measures? Was it A, 2020, B, 2016, C, 2003, or D, 1996.
Oh my-
Again, I'll read it one more time. Congress has until September 30th to pass all 12 of its annual spending bills. When was the last time lawmakers met the deadline without resorting to temporary spending measures? 2020, 2016, 2003, or 1996?
I hope I'm wrong, but I'm going to guess 96.
All right. I would have, without looking, if I hadn't seen the answer, which unfortunately I did, I would have guessed 2003. The correct answer, 1996. Well done, Mr. Zommers.
At first, I didn't know it was going to be multiple choice. I was going to pick a year in the 80s or 90s. So,
Yeah.
And then you said one that was in the 90s. And I'm like, all right, we'll go with that.
Well done, Zommers. Yes, 1996. Congress has not met its deadline for passing regular appropriations bills to fund the government's operations since it approved spending for the 1997 fiscal year, which was October 1996 and through September 1997. So in September 1996, since then, lawmakers have insisted passing temporary measures called continuing resolutions, which fund the government on an interim basis until the regular spending bills have been completed. If Congress fails to pass either of the required spending bills or continuing resolutions, the government could shut down. To date, none, zero, zilch of the 12 bills have been passed, and Congress has virtually no chance of completing the funding process before the deadline. To put that into context, our friend, my former boss, United States Congressman Scott Klug, the last time that Congress passed a budget was when Klug voted on it in 1996.
We got to get him back there.
Right? Klug for Congress. Dust off the green and white.
It just, back when politicians could make compromises.
Right.
As you've said before, with a lot of the people you've worked for and other people you've known in Congress or the Senate at state and national levels, they would argue on the floor and then afterwards say, "You son of a gun, you really got me good. Now let's actually figure this thing out."
Yeah. And I think that's why, and by the way, the Lost in the Middle podcast with our friend Scott Klug is still available on Civic Media and wherever you get your podcasts, Lost in the Middle with Scott Klug. This is part of his frustration of the current iteration of government, the current iteration of Congress, on both sides, by the way, because he comes at it from a viewpoint when, by the way, he was in the minority party for part of his term in Congress and in the majority party for part of his Congress, and Bill Clinton was president, and he was a Republican. And still, back in 1990, think of that. You had Newt Gingrich as Speaker. You had Bill Clinton as president. But yet, they were able to pass a budget. And that was the last time it happened in America. So think of that. All through George W.'s term as president, all through Barack Obama's term as president, the first Trump presidency, the Biden presidency, and now in the second Trump presidency, all of those people. And obviously, passing a budget starts in Congress, so you can't lay all the blame on the executive, on the president. But think of the different people that have been Speaker. John Boehner. In fact, I should correct myself. Boehner might have been Speaker when, in 96, when that budget passed. Newt might have been out as Speaker by then. But then you had Nancy Pelosi. You had Paul Ryan. You had Nancy Pelosi again. Now you got Mike McCarthy, or Kevin
Coach McCarthy.
Now, wait a minute. I think I'm onto something here. Freud, I think Congress could operate better with Mike McCarthy as Speaker than it did with Kevin McCarthy as Speaker.
Well, I mean, as a football coach, they actually have to respect the clock.
Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl. How about that? No, he did he? Yeah. No, he didn't. No. Oh, Holmgren won this. Well, Holmgren and no, McCarthy didn't he? With Aaron Rodgers. McCarthy was coach when, or Trigby should be here, when Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl.
In 2011, McCarthy led the team to a win.
See, my brain isn't quite as bad as I think it is sometimes. But yeah, you got a Super Bowl winning coach. You could at least wrangle together Congress. There, I've hit on it, ladies and gentlemen, inadvertently.
You've got somebody who actually loses their job when they don't meet deadlines.
One of our friends listening in just texted me, and she said, "Yes, he won a Super Bowl." She has season tickets, so she should know. But yes, So I think Mike McCarthy as Speaker would be better than a Kevin McCarthy. But
I agree.
My point is that you can't blame this government shutdown on one party or the other, or one president from a party or another, because none of them have been able to get their act together since 1996. So that's a little. I think we need to spend more time on this moving forward, because this is going to impact potentially every Wisconsinite. And my thoughts always go to our military first and foremost, because a lot of them aren't going to get paid, or partial pay, or delayed. You've got government employees in this, federal workers in this state. It's going to be harder to get passports approved and visas approved. And it always gets to the brink, and then somehow they figure it out. I don't know. I don't know where this is going, but I think it needs to be talked about more, and more people being made aware of it. All right, 16 coming up on 16 past the hour of 3 o'clock. Time once again for What's Worse. Let's go.
This or that, this or that. Then, of course, the choice is yours. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this.
Time once again for What's Worse. Nothing to give away, no prize, money involved, but it is your chance to have your voice heard on all 10 Civic Media News sports talk stations across the great state of Wisconsin. As Mike Lucas says, I can't get anybody's
Mixing
name
all
right.
your Mikes and McCarthy's up.
I can't get anybody's name right today. I'm going to the game tonight, by the way. I'm the compadres, Kurt and Florsey, and my buddy Rob. We're going down to Milwaukee to try to cheer them on.
Yes,
So,
the Brewers game, even though we were just talking about Packers.
yes, that is correct. I think I'm thinking about the game instead of the show. Get your head in the game, Todd. All right. As Mike Lucas says, timely indeed, because, you're going to be going out to games, football games, as Trigby Olsen said, high school games, and maybe you get a bad concession burger or a bad brat or something like that. Or maybe you got a little kid and they poo-poo their diaper. What's worse, bad smell or bad taste? The category today, bad smell or bad taste. 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. What's worse, a bad smell or a bad taste? Give us a ring, 855-752-4842, or you can text us on the Civic Media app. Go to your favorite Apple or Android device, the App Store. In the search bar, type in Civic, C-I-V-I-C, Media. Takes only a minute. It's free to download it. The Civic Media app, it's what CBS's Gail King calls a deal. The Civic Media app. Get it today. You're going to want it, by the way, speaking of the Brewers. Our final free Ticket Friday ticket extravaganza contest. The lawyers hate it when I say that. It's just called Free Ticket Friday. You text in. We give you a word. You text it in. It starts with Kreitlow, then with Jane Matnair. By the way, I have closed a deal with Jane Matnair today. She is going to start appearing on the program on Mondays now. We're going to call it something along Matnair Mondays. And I think I can say this now. Our first one, a week from this coming Monday, last Monday, September, is going to be live from Jane's English Garden. So I'm looking.
Ooh, fancy.
I'm looking forward to that nervous anticipation. So you can on Friday, Kreitlow, Jane and Greg. Then you listen to Tom Hartman. He'll sell you some crypto and give you a word. And then we come on, and then you got Maggie Dawn. And does Schwab get a word too?
I think this time, yes. I don't know. We're about to be briefed on this tomorrow.
The contest has been happening all summer long. We've gotten to the final week, and I don't know whether Schwab gives you for the free ticket Friday or not. But it'll be great. So download the Civic Media app and have your chance to win four free tickets to the club level Brewer seats. The red hot magic number is 7 for the crew down in Milwaukee. 855-752-4842. What's worse, bad smell or bad taste? PJ, watching on the stream on YouTube, says, well, if it smells bad, it probably tastes bad also.
Yeah,
Great
smell
point.
is a big part of taste.
Yeah, yes, it is. All right, come back. We'll take more of your calls, texts as well. What's worse, bad smell or bad taste? You'll see the Todd Allbaugh Show across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network.
DX Madison, where the cheese is sharp and the vibes are chill.
You're listening to the American Democracy Minute, keeping your government buy-in for the people. We reported September 9th that a Utah State District Court ordered a new congressional district map to be drawn by September 25th. Shortly after, the GOP-dominated Utah legislature asked for an emergency stay, which was denied by the Utah Supreme Court on September 15th. The new fair map should be in place for the 2026 midterm. In 2018, Utah voters approved Better Boundaries Proposition 4, establishing a commission independent from the legislature charged with creating fair communities of interest-driven maps for Congress, state legislature, and school districts. Fair maps were drawn, but the legislature passed SB 200 to neutralize the commission, and the legislature drew new gerrymandered maps, actions later ruled unconstitutional. In asking for the stay, the state legislature argued 3rd District Court Judge Diana Gibson had abused the court's discretion in striking down the 2021 congressional map for not complying with Proposition 4, but then ordering a new map which only partially met Prop 4's guidelines. The Utah Supreme Court, however, found Judge Gibson had not abused her authority due to the timeline and denied the stay. For now, the timeline for fair Utah congressional maps will likely stay in place for the 2026 midterm. A full appeal by the legislature will likely be heard in the coming months.
I don't know how much of it I should read on here, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to.
You lose out on
part of the end of
50% off of all
it details a project that pairs adult scenes with behind-the-scenes commentary and in-depth interviews about ethical non-monogamy.
Ethical non-monogamy. Can we get them on live on the show?
Madison Vegan Fest is just around the corner.
I mean, if you want, I can reach out to award-winning adult performer Serenity Cox. Anyway, 30 seconds. That would be something. But we have to invite Joe Gao on, too, for equal time.
That's fantastic. People really should listen to the Secret Show. Here we go.
You eyes, but don't you take it as a compliment if I invite you up to my place. And you should go and seek therapy if you make it past one day. 'Cause baby, I got bad taste.
Welcome back to the Civic Media Radio Network and the Todd Allbaugh Show. It is now 22 past the hour of 3 o'clock on Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. Bad taste, bad smell? That's the question.
Maybe a different kind of bad taste.
Yeah. What's worse, the category today, bad smell or bad taste? Give us your opinion. Give us a call, 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842, or you can text us on the aforementioned Civic Media app. Cindy, listening in Wausau on WXCO on the app, says, I think bad smell is worse. Bad taste you can usually get out of your mouth. But a bad smell can be in your clothes and your hair and stay in your nose for a very long time. Back when I was in high school, my sister made a pasta with vodka sauce. And for some reason, the vodka sauce bothered me so much. It made me absolutely nauseated. I haven't been able to smell it or eat it ever since. Wow.
Must have been pretty bad.
But isn't that true? I mean, I think that smell is our sense that can just hit us the most, right?
I don't remember the exact trigger. I don't remember the exact, information, but I do know that it is very strongly tied to memory as well. Like you can smell cookies and be like, wow, I feel like I'm 3 years old in my grandma's kitchen.
Right. Right. It's triggering for both good and bad memories, right? Yeah, I absolutely believe that. Len in Madison, listening on WMDX, says, I'd say bad smell is worse. Due to source and remedy, maybe may not be as easy to remedy as bad taste. All right, very good. Appreciate that, Len. Matt in Middleton saying bad smell is worse because if it's bad enough, you can also taste it.
That is true.
Eric, newer listener in Madison on MDX. Thank you, Eric, for tuning in, saying bad taste for sure is worse. All right, very good. What's worse, bad smell or bad taste? 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. Brett in beautiful Brown Deer, listening in on WAUK, says bad smell is worse because it's something, if something tastes bad, I can't stop tasting it.
Or I can stop tasting it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can. But let a skunk spray and it'll make you puke. Ever have a pet that got sprayed by a skunk?
Thankfully, no. That sounds awful.
Yeah.
That simply
One of
sounds awful.
my grandparents on the farm, one of the dogs got sprayed once. It was not good at all. What's worse, bad smell or bad taste? 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. Zombers, bad smell or bad taste? What's worse?
It's a bit of a tough one because my sense of smell is not good.
Really?
Yeah, it's really not great.
I'm only laughing because we worked together for 3 years almost, and still I've learned new things about you.
That's true. I mean, I guess what I mean by that is I can smell things, but I get stuffed up easily from allergies, and then I don't smell things. So for me, I guess I do agree with the logic of people saying a bad smell is worse.
All right.
It's just for me, it's more often that I can ignore it.
All right.
I don't know.
Let's go to the phone lines quickly. 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. Let's head out to the old hometown, Richland Center, the Driftless area, listening on WRCE. Whistler in Richland Center. Whistler, bad smell or bad taste? What's worse?
This is worse. You know, the bad smell is like the road between Gotham and RC with the farm spread and stuff. You know, I can get through that.
Right.
You know, the bad taste, it's like, I don't know. I'm not really sure how to get rid of it other than a glass of milk.
Good point. Good point. I see Whistler and I are from the same. I know exactly the exact spot he's talking about. But if you get there on the wrong day and people are spreading manure, it's tough for about 5 miles. Yeah, appreciate it, Whistler. 855-752-4842. Ollie, up in the beautiful North Woods of Wisconsin. Ollie, bad smell or bad taste? What's worse?
Well, I guess I'm going to say it can be different for different things. Bad smell is definitely worse when it comes to Limburger cheese because you can't get past the smell to even taste it. And a trick for all those people who can't get rid of the smell in their nose, if you take a piece of cloth or clothing and just breathe through it a bit, that will take that scent out of your nose.
Oh, well, there you go. News
and
you
it
can
does
use.
work.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, Ollie. Thank you very much. See? Just a good old homegrown tale right there. Appreciate it, Ollie, up in the North Woods. I'm going to say for reasons that others have given, overall, bad smell is worse. Because I do think, like, if I have a bad taste in my mouth, you know, whatever. I can water, milk, whatever it is. It passes more quickly, in my opinion, than a bad smell is just like, you know, ugh. You know, especially, you got some in the refrigerator that went bad and you can't find it.
Oh, that sucks.
And it's just like, what is this? All right, let's go quickly to Mike out in beautiful Spring Green along the Wisconsin River, listening to WRCE and RC. Mike, bad smell or bad taste? What's worse?
Well, I wasn't going to call until that lady mentioned Limburger. And the thing is, if you can get it past your nose, it tastes wonderful. And once it's in your mouth, you don't smell it anymore.
That's a good point. I've had Limburger down at Baumgartner's in Monroe. You're right. Once you taste it, but this you got to get past the smell. Thank you, Mike.
I've never had it. I've never smelled it either.
Yeah, it ain't pretty to smell, but the taste is like okay. All right, Farm News is next with Pam Yonke. That's, by the way, how we play What's Worse. We'll have another edition tomorrow. Gonna come back, gotta hear from Christian Yelich about his home run last night and the Brewers' chances of wrapping up the NL Central. And also some good news for you. Olympic speed skater Jordan Stoltz is back on the ice after a serious bike crash in June. Great story from the Journal Sentinel. Going to share that with you on the other side. You're listening across Wisconsin to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Madison, where the cheese is sharp and the vibes are chill.
Catch Farm Report updates throughout the day from the Midwest Farm Report, right here on 92.7 WMDX.
Anytime I hear about Limburger cheese, I just think of an episode of Rocky and Bullwinkle, where they're going over war history of a region in Europe, and there's a part of France that is surrounded by a field of Limburger lilies that smells so bad, anyone who tries to fly a plane over it to bomb the place instantly dies.
Oh my
because
gosh.
it smells so bad. And they only close up for like a couple minutes a year. And Rocky and Bullwinkle are trying to figure out how to get in there.
That's
great.
Join our friends from Compeer and Pam Yonke
Right,
at
right
World Dairy Expo on Friday, October 3rd at 9:30 a.m. Compeer is dedicated to agriculture in rural America by providing financial services throughout 144 counties in the Midwest. Learn more at Compeer.com.
Pam will continue her coverage of World Dairy Expo with BioVet and Imperio on Wednesday, October 1st at 9:30 a.m. at booths 1503 and 1504 in the exhibition hall. BioVet and Imperio are your trusted partners in animal health. Stop by or visit bio-vet.com.
Let's talk ticks. Kurt Avery joins us. He's the founder of Sawyer Products. He tells us how you can use mice to eliminate ticks.
First, in the yard, if you take cotton balls and you soak them in permethrin and you place them out, the mice will take them back to the nest. The typical mouse will have 10 to 12 ticks on it. So you kill them before they get back into the population. As we've moved our homes out into the wilderness, we've depopulated the predators to the mice. You know, the hawks, the snakes, the foxes, and all that kind of stuff. So mice have proliferated, which means there's a lot more ticks in play. Now they end up on the larger animals, which we usually come into.
Use the mice to kill the ticks and then set traps for the mice. That's the solution I'm hearing. Kurt Avery, along with us, founder and owner of Sawyer Products. Stick around. We're going to be taking a look at closing dairy markets on the way.
What is the Dairyland seed difference? The answer is found in our difference makers. Our seeds are developed and delivered for unrivaled performance in and only in the upper Midwest. Our local dealers, expert agronomists, and everyone throughout our organization who live to make life better on farms and in the community. It's our people, products, and pedigree that combine to make a true difference that you can see on the bottom line and feel in your heart. Learn more about our difference makers at dairylandseeddifference.com.
At the closing bell for cheese and butter, Class 3 milk prices were rallying. Could it be from the bird flu case confirmed this week at a Nebraska dairy farm? From Chicago, the October Class 3 milk contract was up 66 cents at $17.31 a hundredweight. The November contract up 54 cents at $16.90 a hundredweight. The 40-pound block cheese closed up a nickel and 3/4 at $1.68 and a half. Double A butter up 4 cents at $1.81 per pound. Stay up to date on dairy market trends at MidwestFarmReport.com. I'm Stephanie Hoff.
Farm news that
You're laughing at the
impacts
message?
you and your
Yeah.
community from the Midwest Farm Report throughout
Everett,
your day.
my opinion
on
is, Everett, if you're
92.7
watching on the stream,
WMDX.
is that he has an independent
I'm
product and he
meteorologist Mace
controls
Michaels.
who buys
Mostly cloudy,
advertising
isolated
on his
storms
show. And if he
tonight,
doesn't
and a low
believe
to
in
low
crypto,
60s.
then why is he
Partly sunny
accepting
for tomorrow,
advertising
still a
dollars?
chance
It's
of rain,
hypocritical.
high in the
Also,
because he
not only
more
accepting
storms around
advertising dollars,
Friday,
but doing the
high
reads
upper
in his
70s.
voice.
Rain
Right.
chances
Right.
continue
He's
into the
endorsing
weekend.
it because
It's
he's lending
82
his
right
voice
now.
to it. And also, It's like it'd be like criticizing, politicians for taking corporate money, but yet they say they're against corporations. So if you believe in something, then don't take money from them. That's my point.
Delivering real results is going to change lives, and that's what we've done in more.
And also, I don't consider Tom Hartman a colleague. He's not an employee of Civic Media.
When people are dealing with their worst times, and as elected officials, as community leaders, that's what we should be focused on.
The award-winning Maggie Dawn Show, weekday afternoons from 4 until 6.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering.
All right,
from
thank you.
emergency
Pursuing truth wherever it may lead and having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. It is now 35 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock. It is Wednesday, September 17th, 2025, at the world headquarters of Civic Media in beautiful downtown Madison on the intersection of State Street and Fairchild. I'm excited. I guess I'm distracted because we have this beautiful window that we look out on every day during the show, and it's such a beautiful day.
It is very nice
I'm looking
outside.
forward to get out there. That's why I wore this shirt today from Kimberly Akimbo, the musical. It says, "Life is short. Enjoy the ride." It's a great reminder to each of us that none of us know how long we get here, right? And we should seize the day every day. Enjoy the ride. And the cool thing is, it doesn't have to be expensive stuff. Just get out and enjoy the weather. All right? There are all kinds of people laying in hospitals and other places who would give anything to be able to go out and enjoy a day like today. So go out there and enjoy it for them. That's my opinion. I'm looking at myself, by the way, right? I have to be more grateful for the small things in life. It'll make us all feel better, just like Kira told us yesterday. All right, got to get to the story on the Olympic speed skater, but here's the deal. I'm going to open this up for, I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to open this up for conversation because Zommers has found a story on E-Bomb's World.
Boy.
We've been discussing it on the secret show, as we call it, during the stream. You see, you can tune in on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and we keep the mics open most of the time and the camera's on, and you get to see what we're really like when we're not, quote unquote, on the air. I'll save you the trouble. Not dramatically different, by the way. Pretty much the same. And so tomorrow, in the radio world, it starts the book. The book is starting tomorrow. In TV, they call it the sweeps. In other words, it's when the ratings start. And some people get an actual book. You have to keep a diary. Other people, there's like an electronic device. And then all the stations and programs are rated. And this is what drives advertising in radio today. So tomorrow, the book starts. And so, they want us to get interesting people and draw you in so our ratings are big. And so I'm thinking Zommers came upon this over the break. Zommers, be careful, but in general form, just tell us what you've got here. And the question is, should we have this person on the show?
All right. So,
I love every part about this, by the way.
So E-Bombs World, we have Peter Rapine, their managing editor, on very often. Website full of just ridiculous stories, crazy things, all true.
Real headlines from real, actual humans.
Yes. And recently, they have expanded their content, their programming, to include a spicy side of the website, which contains content generally not suitable for broadcast. Or children, or work, those kind of things.
Not safe for work.
And so E-Bombs World posted today from their extra spicy newsletter that went out yesterday. 2025 is officially the year of the hot wife. and famed MILF and award-winning adult performer Serenity Cox, COX, is ready for it. So
she's an adult performer.
Essentially, one of the companies that she works for has launched a new brand specifically dedicated to ethical non-monogamy.
Ethical non-monogamy.
And she had an interview with E-Bombs World, and yeah, where they go about.
Was she clothed during the interview?
I don't know. I'm just reading it. It's not. I don't think it's a video. I think it was just written.
Don't open it up on company time. Now, I mean, I'm thinking that would draw, for better or worse. I think people would want to watch that.
It would be interesting. An interesting discussion
during the book.
What I think, though, is if we're going to have this discussion with Serenity Cox, we need to also invite Joe Gao. Maybe not at the same time. We're not trying to make...
For those that aren't familiar, we've talked about this on the show before, former University of Wisconsin lacrosse chancellor, Professor Joe Gao. He and his wife have a cooking show with adult content included.
Yes, and he has been an advocate that it is free speech.
Right.
And he had some adult performers, or at least, I don't know exactly. He had an adult performer come and give a talk about that business at the university. And he got fired for it.
Right.
And because, people are like, oh, you're using it to promote your other business, or, oh, this isn't free speech. This is I don't know. It's an interesting subject. I'm sure he has a lot to say about it.
Yes. I'm like, it get ready. You never know what's going to happen on the show starting tomorrow for the next few weeks. It's the book. It's the sweeps. So you let us know if you think, should we have, what's her name? Spencer Cox?
Serenity.
Serenity. I think Spencer Cox is the governor of Utah.
You are correct.
Wouldn't that be great if we had Spencer Cox and Serenity Cox on the same show?
Now, that would be an interesting conversation, especially you don't tell them that the other one's coming.
Right.
Just a way to guarantee neither of them ever comes back.
Well, there you go. We've gotten our touch base for the week out of the way on the air.
So, yeah, we're going to have to talk to Peter Rapine about this one, see if he has any other inside information after we read through the interview very carefully.
All right, well, stay tuned for that and more. It's going to be a wacky and wild next couple of months here on the show during the book and the sweeps. In all seriousness, part of it is on Friday, we're going to have the Brewers Text to Win contest, your last chance to win 4 club-level Brewer tickets on Friday. And then starting on Monday, are we allowed to say this? I've started down the path. It's our new Text to Win, the big fall summer sizzler jamboree.
More details will come tomorrow.
I'll preface it by this. In Wisconsin, when we say green and gold, we mean the Green Bay Packers. You might not always say Green Bay Packers, but you might hear the phrase green and gold. That means Green Bay Packers.
Yes, please be aware of that. We will not repeat that again.
We don't go around spreading rumors, so you better be sure and listen close the first time. In the words of the immortal women of Hee Haw.
Indeed.
All right,
Gossip Girls.
The Gossip Girls. 42 minutes now past the hour of 3 o'clock. This is the only thing on Civic Media's radio network right now. Turning to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Great reporter Lori Nickel. Headline, Olympic speed skater Jordan Stolz is back on the ice after a serious bike crash in June. 3 months after a bike crash, Jordan Stolz appears to be in good health and strong form. Stolz was riding his bike on June 2nd, doing sprints and traveling about 40 miles per hour when he hit a bump on a country road and the chain on his Trek bike unraveled. The dismantling happened just after Stolz was pushing down all of his weight onto one pedal, so he lost control of the bike, went over the handlebars, and crashed into a ditch on the side of the road near his house in Kewaskum. The Olympic speed skater could see right away that his right leg was cut. On the roadside, he pried his phone from his shredded bike jersey. His bike helmet was also cracked as well and called his sister for help. When his father arrived, he wrapped a shirt around the leg and raced Stolz to a hospital. Quote, I was just hoping nothing was broken. I was hoping the x-rays would be fine, Stoll said, because it was hurting pretty bad. Legs are everything, of course, obviously, to speed skaters, but the area of the leg in particular that was injured is essentially sensitive. It bears all the weight. If the front shin is damaged, he can't sit, quote unquote, properly in a speed skate position. And the mechanics can be thrown off with how his leg and foot work together while skating. It was worrisome that Stolz could see the white of his shin bone from the cut. Ugh, that's tough. He could see his tendons moving as well. He had to endure a 3-hour wait before the emergency room staff could get him in and sew him up with 16 stitches. Even now, months later, at the Pettit National Ice Center for a practice on September 10th, when Stolz recalls the ER visit, he's not sure if the patch job at the hospital was the greatest either. And yet, he's thankful. He says, quote, "I'm sure it could have been way worse. It could have been broken all over. It was just this. I was lucky. It healed up fairly well," unquote. He took just 1 week off and took a course of amoxicillin to fight any infection, and that was it. The mark, deep red, on his leg resembles a lightning bolt. Now he's got a Harry Potter scar, unquote, as coach said, Bob Corby. It's kind of funny because when Stolz was a kid, someone called him, quote, Flash Jordan, unquote, a play on the words from the 1980 movie Flash Gordon. Stolz says he's okay now. In fact, he believes he is as strong as he's ever been. And that's a testament to him on his work ethic, along with the training guidance from his coach Corby. Stolz's mentality and mental toughness always has been elite. While he's just 21 years old, he seems to be unfazed by adversity, whether it's his pressure of being the favorite for the upcoming Olympics or dealing with setbacks of any kind. It is almost impossible to knock him off focus. Asked if he was on crutches for a bit, he gave a serious side eye. Quote, "Crutches?" he said with a laugh. "It wasn't broken." Stolz is an avid cyclist who uses road riding for off-season training. He's right back in the saddle as of mid-June with his shin taped up. He could still feel pain and discomfort. Even 5 weeks later, his wound looked open, gnarly, and somewhat raw. The healing process was probably closer to 2 months. I just think this is an incredible story, and you're going to hear a lot as the Olympics get closer about Jordan Stolz, another in a line of great speed skaters from Wisconsin. An accident like this was just for training. I mean, holy cow. That could just, as the story pointed out there in the Journal Sentinel, completely undo everything, right? And for this kid to have that kind of mentality and literally get back up and keep going, I just think is incredible. So all the best to Jordan Stolz as he prepares. Zombers, the Winter Olympics can you believe this, are coming up in like February.
Wow. I do love the Winter Olympics.
Me too. As time has gone on, I tend to be a bigger Winter Olympics fan than Summer Olympics. I guess just because, I don't know, the events are more, I don't know how to say it, like combined. It's easier to follow. Like the speed skating, the figure skating, the luge, I like the bobsled guys and gals because how they start off their runs has so much impact with how the run goes, and you watch. And then of course you have the jumpers and the downhill skiers. I don't know. I like the pad. This year it's in Italy, I believe. Is it Milan? Something like that. So NBC, I just read this also. NBC Universal hired a chef and a food person just to do hits during the Olympics in Italy on Italian food. How would that be for a gig?
Now that would be something special.
Now here, speaking of sweeps and the book, I'm thinking most of our audience loves the Winter Olympics. I'm thinking that Civic Media needs an Olympic correspondent in Italy. And I'd be happy to volunteer, sacrifice myself for that job.
And I think that our show does the best when we have a face-to-face interaction. So if we're keeping the Todd Allbaugh show, I might also have to head over there.
Join us, Zommers and I, from Italy for the Winter Olympics Civic Media's continuing coverage. We'll come back, wrap up the show after this. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Todd Allbaugh show on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Building and refreshing local radio, one station at a
Quick
time.
little behind the
Civic
scenes for
Media
everybody.
Radio
I'm
station
pretty sure you're
is
not
proud to
supposed
be
to
a
talk
part
about
of
the
your
book on air
community.
because it
Learn
leads to
more at
ratings distortion. So you may get a talking to
civicmedia.us.
later. Anyway,
Are
were
you
you going to say
serious?
something? Yeah.
Are you serious? No one's ever told me that.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't think it's true. Letterman used to talk about it.
That must be
Not
fine.
that I'm David Letterman.
It must be fine if I mean, yeah.
I mean, I think it's funny.
I do too.
It'll be the Aaron Zommers show on Monday.
Oh, we have
From
someone
2
else
to
coming
4.
to Italy with us.
Oh, really?
Terry Barr says, I want to go to
Terry
the
Barr
Olympics
wants
in
to
all
go.
caps.
I think Terry Barr would be the perfect companion.
No more damage. No more slipping and hurting. Make your ordinary bathroom extraordinary for only $99 per month. New shower, new door, new tub, new wall, new anti-slip technology. BCI Bath and Shower is made in America for the highest quality. First 50 callers save $1,500 on a never clear glass treated door. BCI Bath and Shower. Interest-free financing options. 800-329-4115. 800-329-4115. 800-329-4115.
Does Trump's big bill end taxes on tips and overtime? No.
It's good because
President
you
Donald
already
Trump's
said
new
that was going to
law
happen.
exempts certain
Yeah, I
tips
thought
and
it
overtime
was.
income
I thought it
from
was a
federal
done deal.
tax.
Me too.
But the deductions expire in 2028
Well, it is now.
and come with limits. Workers earning under $150,000 can deduct up to $25,000 in tips.
This is a very interesting hour.
It has been a very eclectic hour.
Covered a wide range.
And I like that. I like those kind of
Yes,
shows.
it's fun.
The tax policy
Let's talk Brewers and
2% of
Yelich.
households will benefit from the tip provision, saving $1,800. The White House estimates.
Yeah, now I'm going to have to read that interview and
I'm Trisha Young for Wisconsin Watch. Fact briefs are bite-sized fact checks of trending claims produced by Wisconsin Watch and GigaFact. Read more at wisconsinwatch.org.
My full-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. The Army National Guard has taught me the value of showing respect to those I come in contact with each day. My service also allows me to be there for my community in ways others can't. I help my hometown recover after nature strikes. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my country and those I care about safe from threats. I also work with a network of professionals that help me succeed and accomplish the mission. Plus, the Army National Guard education benefits.
oh my
make
God,
getting a
these other
higher
headlines on the
education a
spicy side are
reality.
amazing.
Being an Army
Like,
National Guard
I am the
soldier
official
makes
narrator of
serving and serving in my
NSFW
community
children's
more
books,
rewarding
or the
every
porn
day.
starlet who became a
Learn how
firefighter.
you
Anyway, 20 seconds.
Things you won't hear during Friday's segment.
No, not this time.
Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network, where it is now 8 minutes before the hour of 4 o'clock. At the top of the hour, ABC or CBS News, depending upon which of our great stations you're listening to. Brittany Merlot with a spectacular fall forecast. Mike Clemens, our great sports reporter, in with a sports report. And then it's another great edition of the Maggie Dawn Show every afternoon between 2 and 4. Join Maggie Dawn and her guests. Always fascinating, always informative. I believe today they're going to have Angelina Cruz on the show, so that'll be great. Also, General Russell Honore, is that how you pronounce it? I believe. Discussing military.
Honore.
Thank you very much. Discussing military in cities. So timely indeed. Tune into the Maggie Dawn Show. And then our friend Pete Schwaba from 6 until 8. Shameless actor Mike McGill is on the show, as well as comedian Greg Schwend. So tune in to Nightlight with Pete Schwaba from 6 until 8 tonight. All right, we've been talking about it earlier, and Brewers, Brew Crew, red hot right now. Got another big win last night, as Mike Clemens told us about earlier. And a lot of people are saying, geez, I wish I could see the Brewers before, because a lot of people aren't going to, including me, not going to be able to afford postseason tickets. But regular season tickets even now are getting few and far between. Here now, on Friday, your chance to win 4 tickets to the club level seats of Civic Media for a Brewers game to be named later. No, it'll be soon, obviously. Only 11 games left and not all at home. And people ask, do people actually win these things? Well, and by the way, Jane Matnair, a friend and colleague of Matnair on Air every morning from 9 until 11, she does a much better job of talking about this than me. And Mom doesn't let me forget it. She says, well, I listen to Jane, and she says this all the time. Why don't you say it? I said, well, okay. Because people actually win. And so, for instance, Chris in Sun Prairie, Kimberly in Wauwatosa, pardon me, Terry from Cross Plains, Jim in Brookfield, Penny from Plainfield. That's fantastic. I like the alliteration. And Kevin in Madison have all been winners of our Friday giveaway. So you too could join all of them. Tune in on Friday, starting with our friend Pat Kreitlow from 6 until 9. And then you have Jane Matnair and Greg Bach, 9 until 11. Tommy Hartman from 11 until 2. Us, then Maggie Dawn, 4 until 6. And Pete Schwaba, 6 until 8. Be listening all day long on Friday. One last time to get your free Milwaukee Brewer tickets. Of course, the Brewers take on the Angels in Game 2 of the series tonight on many of our stations in Richland Center, Oshkosh, Park Falls, and Hayward. Pre-game show at 6:05 tonight. First pitch at 6:35. Last night, Brewers got another big win. Christian Yelich with his, I believe, 99th run batted in, leading the club in home runs this year. And after the game at AmFam Field, our own Mike Clemens caught up with the press and Christian Yelich. Here's what Yelich had to say on the home run and the season thus far.
Yeah, I mean, we just need to focus on winning that night, like not even thinking about like the magic number. Just we need to just keep stacking wins and playing good baseball, and that'll take care of itself. You know, if we just keep doing what we need to do to win games. That's the most important thing, right? Obviously, everybody wants to win the division, but you can't do that in one night. And if you start looking ahead, then things can get away from you a little bit. So you just got to be present and focus on winning games. It's really hard to win games, so we need to continue to do that. And when that time comes, gets a little bit closer, then obviously, you know, you can think about it then.
Christian Yelich after the win last night over the Anaheim Angels. The magic number is down to 7, meaning that a combination of Brewers wins or Cubs losses that total 7 get the Crew to the National League Central title. For the number 1 seed in the National League, the magic number is 9, as well as the overall number 1 seed in Major League Baseball. And the difference there is if they get the number 1 seed in the National League, then they would have home field advantage through the National League Championship Series if they were to get that far. If they get the number 1 overall Major League Baseball seed, they would also then, should they make it to the World Series, have home field advantage in the World Series as well. All of that's still achievable. Of course, they've already clinched a postseason berth. We know they're going to play baseball in October. And now it's just kind of a where they're going to land on that. But so exciting to watch this right now, Zommers, and to just follow the Brewers. It gives, at least for me, maybe I'm just too much of a sports guy, but it gives me hope, you know, in a time when right now you look around and there's not a lot of it.
No, it definitely does. I mean, I'm not the biggest sports guy in the world, as you know, but I'm becoming more so in a season like this just because of how much hope it can bring. And seeing, you know, the Brewers and how unified they are and how humble they are, I think can inspire all of us to try and work a little harder and do something about the things we want to see in the world.
Totally agree. And by the way, the Chicago Cubs got a win came back and won 8-4 over Pittsburgh this afternoon in Pittsburgh. So now the Cubs have clinched a postseason berth with today's win, and that means the Brew Crew has to get another win tonight if they want to maintain that 5-game lead. I believe 11 games to go in the regular season, so make it interesting right down the stretch and a lot of fun. Again, you can listen to the Brewers on many of our Civic Media stations in Richland Center, Oshkosh, Park Falls, and Hayward. Pre-game show tonight at 6:05, and the Crew first pitch just after 7:30 tonight. Great show today. Appreciate Pat Kreitlow. You can hear him every morning from 6 until 9 on Civic Media. Trigby Olson, Senior Advisor of the Lincoln Project. Our great producer, engineer, Aaron Zombers on the board as always. And as always, to all of you, each and every one of you, all across the state of Wisconsin, around the world on the Civic Media app, thank you for listening. You are why we come here every day and have great conversation and a lot of fun as well. Have a great evening. Tomorrow, Francesca Hong will be our guest state representative on her gubernatorial announcement today. Talk with her. Until then, whatever you're fighting for, whatever you believe in, do not give up. Keep banging your drum. Maggie's next.
Adios.
All right, everybody. Appreciate you being here. Have a great day. Bye-bye.